So just like any management system documentation, there are document owners who ensure adequate control of these documents and make sure that only the latest version of documents are being used by users of the document. And they are also responsible for ensuring adequate evaluation of all revision requests from the users to ensure continual improvement of management system documents. All right. Similarly, when it comes to SHEQXEL templates, we are the document owners, and every revision request that comes to us, we consider them and we try to classify them either under customization request for the user because the request is specific to the user, or we may initiate a major improvement on our template and make it available for all persons. All right. So today's video, we're going to look at a similar instance where one of our users requested for an upgrade on our template, particularly the scoring criteria of our gap analysis tools, because he made a very logic point that when it comes to the standard criteria, sometimes, the standard criteria may not be applicable to the organization, or the organization may have partially implemented it. So the yes or no responses may not be the reality in actual fact, but partial implementation and non-applicable should equally be considered. So we have considered this improvement, and we've done that on all the gap analysis tools. In fact, I decided to reserve this one to demonstrate how you're going to do that to benefit everyone. All right. So without wasting time, let's get straight onto the template. So first of all, just take note of the fact that the password is right here. So you need to just grab the password. All right. So you may want to type it and then enter the password to unprotect the sheet. All right. So we're going to unprotect a couple of sheets. First and foremost, we're going to unprotect the scoring criteria because we're going to revise the scoring criteria. We're also going to unprotect the checklist because we're going to revise the scoring criteria as well. And then over here, we're going to also fix any error that pops up. We're going to fix this sheet as well. All right. So these are the 4 sheets that we're going to fix. So when it comes to scoring criteria, we are trying to introduce additional criteria, which is partial implementation and then non-applicable. All right. But before I can do that, I want to make sure that that is in an Excel table because I'm going to be referencing this table in the formula. All right. So I'm going to be inserting. I'll take note that everything is properly aligned. But the moment I try to insert new column, things begin to change. All right. Sorry, new rules, things begin to change and we need to fix them. So I'm going to insert 4 rules. So first and foremost, there's going to be partial over here, and the partial is going to be 0.5. All right. And then it's going to be the fact that when it's yes, it is fully implemented. All right. So the standard clause requirement has been fully implemented. Here will be has been partially implemented. And then the no is going to be up here. And then we're going to introduce another one, which is non-applicable, right? And then non-applicable simply means the clause requirement does not apply to the organization, right? So here is going to be blank. Here is going to be, here's 0. Here is blank, all right? And I'm going to change this to amber. And this one, I'm going to make it no fill, all right? So it's going to be like this. So this is the new scoring criteria, and I think this makes perfect sense. All right. So take note that we've done a major improvement on our template based on the feedback from a user. And this is how we ensure continual improvement of our template because, trust me, you have 361 reviews from amazing users. And these are people's, high-level safety professionals who like our template and they help us continually improve. All right. So now that I've changed the criteria, you notice that this sheet is mixed up now, all right? And this one too is mixed up, all right? So we're going to fix it right here, all right? So first and foremost, take note that I inserted the rows from the middle, and I put it in an Excel table, and that is the reason why automatically you see that they are populated in the drop-down, all right? Again, now what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to fix this very sheet. Now take note, this is the formula bar, so I'm going to fix it. And I'll be fixing this one as well. I'll be fixing this. So let's try to make meaning out of the formulas. All right. So if yes, the score will be 1. There will be no gap, and this being compared against the maximum, and that's to give us a score of 100%. If it is no, it's not populating because the formula has been messed up. So now let's fix. If it is partial, what happens? All right. So this is supposed to populate. Now I want to change this formula altogether. So I'm going to be using VLOOKUP. Okay. Referencing D5. Then I reference this entire table. Now this is an Excel table. I select everything. I select the column, the second column, which is 2. and I want the exact figure. So I close it, and that's right there. So we have partial is to give us, half of it, half of the point, all right? Now, if it is partial, then the gap 2 must be partial, right? So we're going to fix that also. But let me just try to make sure that the non-applicable is also populating. So if it is non-applicable, it's 0, but here it's showing as 1. If it is no, that's perfect, right? So now what we need to do next is to make sure that we are fixing this very one. So this section is going to be based on another argument that if D5 is equal to partial, all right? Instead of a comma, I put a dot there. So that has also been fixed, right? Now, if this is blank, sorry, non-applicable, this also should be blank. It should be counting. Other than that, it's going to give us 50%. If it does not apply, it should give us 100%. It should only consider this, not the two of them to give us 50%, because it's counting this as an important requirement that must be complied with. We want to make sure this is also blank. So we are going to see that if D5 is equal to non-applicable, it should give us 0. If not, it should return the figure, right? So now we've been able to establish the fact that if this requirement is not applicable, it should indicate 0. That means it should not count towards the percentage level of implementation, all right? It should only consider this because this is applicable, all right? So if it is partially applicable, then it should tell us it's 50. It's going to give us, the average of the two, which is 75, all right? So we've been able to fix this, all right? So we are going to let it replicate throughout the entire worksheet, but let's just hold on. We'll do that later on, all right? Now let me just go here and fix any issues that may be arising, all right? So here is supposed to populate the no responses. Now take note that we've shifted this no down, further down. It used to be here. Now we shifted it down. So you're going to find a reference to this. The reference is B5, right? So I go in here and allocate B5, B5, B5. If this is B5, this is B5, right? So I change it to B5, and that's pretty much it. That has populated now, but let me make sure that it's capturing everything. So it's coming all the way here, all the way down, right? So B5 have been fixed, but we want to also include partial, because partial implementations also means that there's a partial gap, right? There's a partial implementation, there's a partial gap. So every partial gap will have to populate on this sheet as well. So I'm going to make another formula. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this whole formula, because that's like the function that we use to pull. I'm going to put it right here, all right? And I'll change it to partial. Partial is on the, hold on. Partial should be B, is it B3? Partial should be B3, right? No, hold on, let's check something. Partial is B4, sorry, B4. So I just make sure I change it to B4. All right, so we've been able to introduce partial in here as well. So what I do is that I'll just highlight the entire column. That's Command Shift down, because there are a lot of gaps in between. That's why it's taking time. But that's what we're going to do. Command Shift down is bring me all the way here. Then I'll introduce conditional formatting in here. So contain partial. Then I select the fill. So if partial, it should show this, right? And then over here to if partial, it should provide the fill, yellow fill. Okay, so as you can see now, we've been able to introduce partial in there. Now, if partial is going to populate as well, so we have this to filter out, yeah? And then we're going to fix this, but we'll fix it later on, because this is based on a VLOOKUP function, right? So we've been able to revise this. We've been able to, change this but we need to just make sure it goes all the way down. But one interesting thing the person told us is that we should also consider evidence, because we are trying to keep records that this is what we found. So now we want evidence. But take note that we are inserting column and it's picking up the formatting of this. So what I'll do is that I'll just look for any blank sheets, any blank cell to override this so that this drop down wouldn't show. So now I have an empty cell to use for the formatting. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this and paste it on all the various cells or ranges of cells. All right. So I'll copy this, I paste on this. I want to move faster, so I just copy like this. Okay, so that is it right there. We've been able to fix it. Now, what we've done here is that we're giving opportunity for you to provide evidence of things that they've implemented. Now, partial has been captured in the action plan. So if I select partial, it's going to show here. Okay, so I just have to select partial, and the partial is going to populate, right? If I get rid of the partial to compliant, yes, then it's going to leave it as blank. Every no is going to populate as well. No is going to populate as well. For some reason, the no is showing as this. I need to make sure the correct no. Okay, so now you updated our checklist. All the no is going to populate as well. So if anything, just refresh the webbook. Okay. So no is this type of no. All right, so that's pretty much it. As you can see, we've been able to introduce a new scoring criteria. We've revised the checklist to include partial and non-applicable. If it is non-applicable, it wouldn't affect the calculation, and it wouldn't populate it as well. All right, but all the partial are going to populate. And also we've been able to fix. Okay, so what we've done is that since we inserted another column, this has distorted slightly, so we need to fix this also. So we inserted another column, but as per the VLOOKUP function, it was referencing the fifth column. Now it should be referencing the sixth column, so it's going to fix it, and this is going to be like 7. So we just make sure that we are counting based on the additional column that was introduced. So if it was 8, make sure that the column reference should be like +1, so it's going to be 9, and that's exactly what we've done. All right, so we've been able to fix our template. We just refreshed the workbook and everything is back. All right, now we've introduced the partial, and the partial is basically 0.5. So what it means is that on our dashboard, some of the findings or the reports is going to show some decimals in there because of the 0.5 that we introduced for partial. All right, so that's it, guys. So this is how interesting our template is. This just tells you that we can do customization based on your criteria. We can change the scoring criteria as you want, because it's quite a unique template. All right, so I just want to make sure that everything that I unprotected is protected back. So this sheet, you want to protect it back. So Control V. I want to protect the scoring criteria back. Control V, back. All right, so as I earlier mentioned, opportunity for improvement is always considered from our users, because we believe that the knowledge is not in one person's head, it's in everybody's head, and you guys are peer reviewing the document, you're peer reviewing the template. You can make some suggestions, and these suggestions are going to benefit everyone. All right, so these templates are now available for download. So thank you all for your attention, and speak again soon in another video. Bye for now.